wanna see you in the morning. I wanna see you when the breaking day is sounding. You gotta go, it's alright. But I wanna see you in the light of the morning. Hey!
What's up, YouTube? Today, my flannel and I will be giving you a direct review of the JG Bar-10 bolt-action sniper rifle. This gun is a direct copy of the Tokyo Mari VSR-10, and this particular model is copied after the Pro version. This is an extremely good base upgrading platform. There are about 100 different clone sniper rifles to choose from on the market, and me personally, this has always been one of my favorites. Something I do is upgrade spring sniper rifles and customize them for clients or whoever is interested. This is one of the easiest platforms to upgrade and make power with. Sort of like cars. You don't go buy a Prius and try to tune it up to 400 horsepower. The gun does not come with a bipod. This is a Harris-style bipod that I added on my own. You can find one like this on Airsoft Station made by UTG for around 25 bucks. I purchased the scope model. For about $20 more, they will send you this nice 3 to 9x40 China-made airsoft scope. The reticule is very nice, has a range compensation meter, and it adjusts to your eyes pretty well. The only thing I notice with it is that as you increase your zoom to about 6 times, you're kind of getting a blurry image. Overall, though, it does perform pretty well. The turrets and sight adjustments for windage and elevation click very nice and do quite a good job for making shot adjustments. One reason why I would choose this over the many other rifles that are out there is because of its Tokyo Mari compatibility. You can drop any VSR part you see online directly into this. Therefore, you can make this thing a killer rifle. This gun shoots at about 400 feet per second out of the box. Like I said earlier, it's definitely a solid upgrade platform. There are a lot of do-it-yourself upgrades and mods you can do to this gun, and I'll be talking about some of those shortly in the next video I make. A previous rifle that I worked on, without spending a penny, I got to chrono in at 550 FPS with a .2, and that's all solely from doing little mods here and there that I'll talk about later. Let's go over some internals real quick. This is a cylinder from a previous Bar-10 of mine. This one has seen a lot of rounds and a lot of action. That said, the bolt still clicks into place very well, and everything is nice and smooth. Definitely not a part you have to worry about. Moving on to the internals of the cylinder, mostly plastic, the spring guide's plastic, piston is plastic. Definitely not something you have to worry about unless you're planning on putting a hot spring in. One interesting feature about this gun is that it has an air brake system. What that means is that this little piece that protrudes from the front, which is typically longer, I cut it down, I'll explain that later. As it's going through the cylinder and gets closer to the head, it creates this little cushion of air. What happens is this goes in and creates a little air pocket right into the cylinder head, which slows it down just a tiny bit before it impacts and makes things a lot quieter, as well as a lot less stress is put on your internals. Standard spring, not much you can really review about that. Moving on to the trigger box. This particular trigger box has seen more action than any aftermarket or upgraded trigger box that I've ever owned. The sears are still great even after having over 500 to 600 feet per second upgrade kits through it. This is from a first generation Bar-10, and I don't know if the quality has gone down, but I'm extremely impressed by this. It's always my backup. The hop-up system in this gun performs very well. It's a direct clone of Tokyo Mari's V-style system, and it's extremely sensitive. So it's important that as you're sighting it in, you make sure to barely just finely tune it back and forth, because the little movement will make a huge difference. All Bar-10s come with a nice rubberized stock. It feels very good, and while the gun is lightweight, it has a very nice overall feel. It's very balanced and makes it very fieldable. You'll find that once you run around and lug a heavy sniper rifle like an L96 in the field for a couple games, it's very tiring and you get worn out pretty fast. Well, unless you're tough. This gun is modeled after the Pro version, which means it has a long tapered outer barrel. This helps in reducing the weight a lot, but does make it difficult to mount barrel spacers. When this gun gets dropped off at your door, in the box you will need to do a little bit of assembly to get it together. I'll be talking about that in the next video I make, because I will go through the whole assembly and disassembly to get into the upgrades. This gun is very starter friendly. The bolt is very easy to pull, and as long as you take care of it, it will be very reliable. Overall, I would definitely recommend this gun. It's pretty reliable, and as long as you take care of it, you'll have a lot of use out of it. Stay tuned for some of my next videos. I'll be talking about how to perform some upgrades to it, and some other options that you will have with it. Now let's go shoot some paper. Alright, so it looks like we got a decent grouping. These BBs over here are just from previous shooting, so don't worry about them. We've got like 3 in a tight group, and then the rest are kind of all over the place. Most likely from hop-up irregularities or the defects on the BBs I'm using. But overall, pretty good.